What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Hope your weekend is off to a banging start. Mr. Baseball Bellman over there with a nice baseball night last night. I didn't get to share in your joy. My son had his friends over for his birthday party, so I didn't really play much baseball last night. But big ups to you calling out Garrett Cole and the Giants last night. That actually worked out real well. Good job.
Thank you very much. It did work out well. Just goes to the power of being different and not being afraid to spend up on elite pitching, because sometimes, not all the time, even with all those home runs hit last night, it was the pitcher that carried me. Now, that was probably the best performance we'll see all year, but that happens with guys like that.
It's been a good week to spend up on elite pitching at lower ownership with Morton, Verlander, Luis Severino, for example. I mean, it's been a good week for pitching. I wish every week was like this week. Honestly, we'll probably get our teeth kicked in next week because that's how DFS works, right? Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. Next week, we're probably going to get really frustrated by pitching and get a whole bunch of negative performances. So let's ride it while it's hot first.
And just watching Colt last night, it was one of the best pitching performances I've ever seen. I wasn't there live, but watching it live. And two, I can't remember the last time a guy got 60 in DK. I really can't.
Anthony Davis at 66 last night.
Okay, there you go.
All right, guys. So speaking of just buying the best pitcher on the board today, we don't see any reason not to go back to the best pitcher on the board, Charlie Morton. He's awesome. He's been phenomenal all year other than one start. This Diamondbacks, they're a really good baseball team, but that doesn't mean you can't play good pitchers against them. Point in case, Garrett Cole last night. I feel like this one's just grabbing the low-hanging fruit, but I feel like it's just easy. Just go right back to him. He's phenomenal.
How the hell is Kenta Maeda priced higher than Charlie Morton here? That just doesn't make sense. He's too cheap for how good he is. There's no way I'm not using him here. GBPs, cash, double ups, triple ups, I don't care. He's the best pitcher on the slate. And while he's not as good as Cole, he's been really, really good this year, like you said. One start against the Angels, the Angels are a much worse matchup than the Diamondbacks. So that's just what it is. And I see no reason to deviate here. Houston pitching has been really good to us recently. People haven't seemed to bought in yet. I'm buying it.
Yeah, let's keep using it until everybody else buys in. It's kind of like me with Rondo in the NBA playoffs. Just use them, and it always works. And until everybody else starts using them, there's really no reason to deviate.
Agreed.
So just mentioning the low-hanging fruit today. All right, next up, what do we know about Brian Dozier? We knew two things. He loves left-handed pitching, loves it, rakes off of it, and he's a notoriously streaky hitter. So after an extended slump, he had 3 hits with a triple and a home run last night, and he faces a weaker lefty today. Sign me up.
Yeah, so we talked yesterday about, Upton was the streakiest guy, and you mentioned E5. He's right up there, Dozier. He's right in that crew. We've been waiting for this. I can't remember if we used him or what we did with him the other day, but if I used him, I don't remember. It didn't work out because he hasn't gotten a hit in a few games. Right back on it last night. I mean, like you said, he had the homer, and then he followed that up with a triple. Between him and Ozzie Albies, it's a real tough call at second base, but I like Dozier a lot, honestly, in any format because of the pitching matchup.
Absolutely. Just makes a ton of sense. And I don't know, really no reason to get any further into detail on that. We know 2 things about Brian Dozier. And for those of you new to MLB DFS, he loves to hit lefties, and he's really streaky. And when you get to take both of them right now, rock and roll.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and I know you like to mention this, he's got really high upside for the type of guy he is, especially at 4.3. He could be priced higher. If he was like, I think if DK had, I'm not sure because he's not in the middle of a hot streak because he only had 1 game. We sense that coming. If he was in the middle of a hot streak, he'd be 5K here.
Exactly. I think you can get him one day.
Agreed.
Ahead of where everybody goes there. Like, he'll get buyers tonight, don't get me wrong, but he won't. I don't think he'll be like 50 or 60% owned or anything like that.
I think he'll get buyers, but you're right. I think because you got Albies sitting right there too.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So one of your heroes from last night, you were right. I was wrong. You're good looking. I'm unattractive. You're smart. I'm stupid. Blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. You were dead right about Brandon Crawford. You want to ride the hot hand to go right back there today and get your discount?
Yeah, I want to go right back there again today, get my discount. I didn't even notice this, but he's also 7 of 17 off McCarthy here. So this guy, and maybe I like him a little more than I should, but he's a really damn good ball player, and he's been good before. We looked up his numbers yesterday. Is he an elite level hitter? No, but he's 2.8. And this is like heaven for the Giants offense being out of San Francisco in Atlanta. Like I said yesterday, they're finally not playing like in San Diego or San Fran. Great hitters ballpark, especially for lefties. He's 2.8, homered yesterday. I'm riding it here. I mean, just look at the game log. He's progressing every game right now, and I like him quite a bit here.
Yep, definitely. Makes sense. And that allows you to get some more high-priced guys, including where a couple spots where we think it's apropos to go a little bit different tonight. So does Betts make sense? Of course. He's absolutely on fire. Does Mike Trout make sense? Absolutely. He makes a ton of sense. Actually, you know what? I want to side note this one for those new to MLB DFS and how many little things go into helping your guys score. So,
how is that called a triple? Really?
I get it, but it could have been an error, period. It could have been a double with an error. It could have been a single with an error or a triple. It could have gone any of those directions. But in his double early in the game was 2 feet away from being caught. If D. Gordon catches that ball or they call it an error or that double gets caught, I mean, this guy puts up a dud last night. It's that close.
I cannot believe they called that a triple. I knew you were about to go there as soon as I saw this because he dropped it. They hit his glove. Like he had to run.
It was a tough catch.
Yeah, but it was a tough catch, but I mean, that's a wow to me.
What would you have called it? Single with an error? I
would have called it a straight error, a 3-base error, because that is doing the pitcher really dirty.
Yeah, it was a close call. Like when he hit it, I wasn't sure where they were going to go. I got both sides of the argument, but that's 8 points right there. And his double was 2 feet away from being caught. And on the flip side, Ian Kinsler, we liked the Angels last night, and Trout was good. Pujols ended up being pretty good. Simmons was good. And another guy I liked who was terrible was Ian Kinsler. So Kinsler got done dirty by the ump on 3 different at-bats. And what happened was it was literally like the same thing, where he got up there, he got to a 1-1 count, and then the pitcher threw a ball 6 inches off the plate, and he called it a strike. And it was weird how it happened over and over again because he looked at him like, now I'm down 1-2. 1-2 and 2-1 is such a difference in the hitting count. Like if you look at the batting averages of hitters, 1-2 count versus 2-1, it's huge.
Enormous. That tilts things so much when you get a 1-1 count and an ump really screws you. So just real quick, the only reason I could see why they wouldn't call it like a 3-base error is because the ball was hit hard. Like that's the only thing about the play, like where I give
and the ball knuckled in a weird way too.
Yeah, but he literally dropped the ball. I don't know. So we move on. And to your point, yeah, all these guys are great plays. There's no denying that Trout, Betts, JD Martinez are in great spots, but that doesn't mean that you have to go there.
So one of the things that we like is by looking at Charlie Blackmon today, and let's just look at these top guys, Betts, Trout, Martinez, Pollock, Springer. These guys are all phenomenal. And Blackmon is right up there with being the best in the group, right? He's one of the best hitters in baseball. So you're going to get him at extremely discounted ownership today. I mean, very potentially sub 10, if not even sub 5%.
I think sub 5. I mean, how many people are using Blackmon over Trout and Betts here? And that's really, and JD Martinez, and that's really what you're doing.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this is a great call here. This is a great GPP one-off. Because those guys, like you just said, Betts, Martinez, Trout, they're all in great spots, and they're great, and they're hot. But you know what? So is Blackmon, like you said. And I know that you're about to get into this point. This is actually a really good, sneaky matchup for him.
So people, obviously 10% of the MLB DFS community is really good at what they do or whatever the percentage might be. But a lot of other people they'll pick on the low-hanging fruit, which, again, makes a lot of sense a lot of days. And they'll just look for their lefty-on-lefty matchups and completely ignore it. Now, again, Blackmon at home against a righty for a long time has been one of the best bets in baseball. And I don't think we want to deviate from that and say all of a sudden he's a guy that you use against lefties or you want to use him on the road. But a little over a month through the year, he's hitting lefties better than righties, and he's hitting on the road better than at home. So while that will eventually come back and even out and probably swing in the direction of you still want him against righties at home, it's a weird little statistical anomaly early in the season that you're picking one of the best hitters in baseball at a really low ownership. And as good as Betts and Trout are, Betts won't homer every single day.
No, Betts won't homer every single day. You got to figure those numbers are going to stabilize at some point. How many home runs is Betts going to hit this year? 35, 40 max, maybe 30. So he's already hit, 5 in the past 3 games. I'm just not going to hop on now. I mean, I'm not paying $5.9 for him. And if he was the guy that was going to be 5% owned, then yeah, but it's all about the ownership angle here. I love this call. Blackmon, like you said, he's elite of the elite. The only guys that you would probably say, like if you were ranking these guys in terms of their value, the only guys that are probably ahead of him are Trout and Betts, like you said, even in their DFS value.
And those are even arguments. I mean, not real life. Obviously, Trout's better. I'm just saying, like, these are three of the best players in baseball. And if you can get Blackmon at sub 5 while Trout and Betts get all the ownership, sure, their matchups might be a little bit better, but that doesn't mean it ends up being better.
With it. Love this call.
Yeah. GPP, though, guys, in cash games, again, I would much rather use Betts or Trout in cash games, but like GPPs in baseball because the value of being different is so great.
This is the same exact, but even maybe a little bit better than AJ Pollock the other night versus Ryu. He got hurt because Ryu left the game early, but like it's not about like that one call. It's about how you play.
Yeah, exactly. And there are days where chalk blows up.
Sure.
Like again, Sanchez and Judge both homered last night. That made, it was tough if you didn't play those guys. It could be done because they weren't huge performances, but they were really good performances. So it can hurt some days, but there's other days where it helps you win. And like we said yesterday, like I don't mind taking it on a chin 3 days in a row if on the fourth day I bring 7 times my buy-in back. So, and in much in the same order, this kid seems to be the real deal. He's got power. He's got a little bit of speed. And I will basically stop right there and let you talk about him a little bit more.
This is like this almost the same as Blackmon. I like the Blackmon call more. If I have to choose one, actually in GBPs, I'm going Blackmon because I think Blackmon even gets less ownership than him, and he's better than him because we know Blackmon's a proven guy. But I love this kid. I've been talking about him for a while now. He's awesome. He hasn't faced lefties a lot so far. Obviously, he's only been up for like a week. He's 3 for 7 with a homer and a double. And what impresses me most was how he first pitch against Syndergaard laced a double. Then I saw him hit an opposite field double. He's fast. He runs hard. He's aggressive. We love aggressive. Even if he goes 0 for 4, I can live with it because I know that he's, like I said, really aggressive. And he, like you said, is just really, really good. There's a reason he's 4.8 here. I kind of like that he's priced up for GPPs because people are going to want to use JD Martinez, Betts, and Trout over him.
Exactamundo. That's kind of the whole point to us. And again, there's days that you will take it on the chin by playing this way. We know that. We absolutely know that. We go into the night with that as, a realistic expectation every single day. But when it pays out better when you pick on the lower owned guys. The one thing I will say that you have me doing way more of than I ever did before in baseball is just fading popular people. And fades don't work as well in football and basketball, but in baseball,
what I need to get
so much power. Yeah, exactly. That's where you can kind of complement one another. And I tried to pound that to you in basketball all year long that fading guys just because they're going to be popular usually shits on you. But in baseball, it pays out well.
It pays out really well. And now why I love baseball so much. Like doing this for, me and you have been doing this for a while now. So yeah, I think that the longer we do this, the better each of us will get because I need to get better in realizing that football and basketball are not like that.
Yeah, 2 totally different games and you play them differently. I love cash games in NFL. I love cash games in basketball. I don't really like them for baseball because I don't like just picking the safe conservative guy. Like if I'd had the opportunity to play lineups last night and once we did that poll and found out Garrett Cole wasn't going to be popular, I'm like, well, who has the highest upside on the board? Garrett Cole. I want to play for upside at low ownership. And if it, burns me, there's a lot of days you're going to lose anyway. I'd rather go down swinging than get called out on strike 3.
Exactly. And the other thing that I think we need to keep in mind, which we haven't even discussed yet, is the Arizona is not playing like the Arizona of old, like at all. Now, Garrett Cole was different last night because he was striking everyone out, but we have not seen big run totals. And I think a lot of that has to do with Arizona's offense is not as deep. I know they got Souza back, but they don't have JD Martinez. They don't have Lamb. And I think they're playing a different style of game. They're not playing home run ball. They're playing their relief pitching is really good, and their starting pitching is now good.
Most underrated pitching staff in baseball.
Probably.
Most underappreciated, underrated. Now they just got really hampered with the Taiwan Walker as their number 5 going down for the year. That really lowers their depth. Robbie Ray's out for a couple of weeks, which does hurt. But when you look at that team 1 through 4, it stacks up. Maybe not as good as the top couple, but it's right there. When you talk about Godley, Greinke, Robbie Ray, and the guy who's been the best this year, Patrick Corbin.
So Corbin's huge for me because the only argument you could have for them, and they're probably as deep as anyone, is they don't have the top level pitching like a Scherzer, like a Kluber, even a guy like Carrasco. They don't have. You know what I mean? I'm talking about coming into the year. But right now, Corbin is better than Carrasco, so that solves that problem right now. He's not on the Kluber or Scherzer level yet, but you know what? These guys like Kluber evolve to become that. Maybe he's evolving and becoming that, like Garrett Cole.
And even if he's not, I mean, how many of those are there? You
exactly.
can't have. Not everybody can have a Corey Kluber or a Max Scherzer. There's only a couple of them that even exist. But again, Arizona is to me is a quiet like dominant team because they're doing it without Jake Lamb this year. You know, Yasmani Tomas was one of their masters. He's nowhere to be found. JD Martinez left in the offseason. Yeah, Souza's going to add some punch to that team, but he's going to need a couple of weeks to really get going. They're getting no production out of the catcher spot. I mean, it's really just about piecemealing it and a really good pitching staff.
Really good pitching staff. I struggle seeing them. I think they will make the playoffs because their pitching staff is so deep. I struggle seeing them come out of the National League simply because of that top-end starter. Like, that's where Corbin comes in. He needs to be that guy for them to come out. He just does because Greinke's not that guy anymore.
Well, then who's coming out? That would be my argument. Who's got the Nationals with Max Scherzer? Well, they never do it, so we still got to see that.
Fair enough. I don't know who's coming out, and they definitely would be in the running. I'm not saying they couldn't. I struggle to see it because of them, but you're right. If the Dodgers, like, they're one of the guys with one of the elite level pitchers in Kershaw, but we don't think they're coming out. So I know what you mean.
That loss of Corey Seager, man, that's big.
It's big because I'm even looking at tonight, and we're talking about the night slate here. I like the Dodgers a lot. Problem is, who do I even want to use from them? I mean, a couple guys, but like, it's not appealing right now.
And Bellinger just really started to get going, but when you can pitch around him, why throw to him? I mean, What's the point of throwing to Cody Bellinger? Is the only guy left in that lineup that can hurt you until Justin Turner gets back.
Agreed.
I mean, Taylor and Grandal are good too, but they're not elite level hitters or anything like that.
No, and Bellinger gets real impatient. So Bryce Harper did an amazing job when he was getting walked all the time of not, expanding his zone. Bellinger has a real hard time of not expanding his zone.
Did you see the highlights of the Bryce Harper home runs last night?
No.
So the first one, I think I even tweeted about this. Like, he shouldn't even get a full home run for it. It was like a lazy fly ball that just scraped over the fence right down the left field line. Really weak. Well, he made up for it in round 2 when he went 480 out to straightaway center field. It's like, all right, so I'm not going to give you full credit on the first one, but I should give you like triple home run credit for that second one. That guy's getting paid in the offseason.
Oh, no. I was bumming last night because the Indians, man, they're another team that's disappointing. For some reason, I don't feel it with them right now. And we've had 2 games in the past 4 or 5 days. One against Texas where we tied it on a grand slam and 2 outs in the 9th. And then yesterday came back from 5-0 against the Yankees in the 8th. Lost both those games. You win one of those games, that's a season changer, as you know. And you don't get opportunities to win games like that often. I don't know if they need to make a move, if it's early or what, but I'm a little bit tilting about the Indians.
Well, I'll make you feel better right now because this is what's going to happen is the Indians get to make the playoffs de facto because of how weak the division is. So you don't really need to press too bad. Once you get Andrew Miller back, that really stabilizes the bullpen. You're going to add a bullpen piece as the season progresses. The loss of Shaw was big. And then you're also going to add another offensive piece to stabilize the offense a little bit more because right now the offense isn't quite good enough to do a ton of damage. But you add one guy in there and all of a sudden, now you can deal. The loss of Santana was big. I mean, it hurt. It was part of the, big part of it.
I guess, and the other thing is what maybe has me wow, yeah, the Santana loss, he's been awful too. So it's hurt both sides. The one thing that worries me about the Indians, and I'm not even kidding, is Houston. Because Houston was always, Cleveland, after their winning streak last year was the team to beat for a little bit. It was them and Houston for sure. We made the World Series 2 years ago. Houston went and won the World Series. And now they've got Cole and Morton who are better. If Cole, and I told you this morning, I think he's the best pitcher in the majors right now. And earlier this week, I told you Justin Verlander was the best pitcher in the majors. That's both their guys. Who are we beating?
Kluber, and Charlie Morton's the most underrated pitcher in baseball.
So you're telling if Kluber doesn't win game 1, we got no chance. No,
the Houston pitching staff is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
The bullpen isn't, though.
No, it's not. And they can make a move, though.
Sure.
Again, so that's another team that can make a move. And what I wanted to talk about, and I forget who I bring this up with. Oh, one of our customers, Nick Ryan, longtime customer, seems like a good dude. We were tweeting back and forth this morning. And I think there's no better argument people forget how important coaching is in baseball, basketball, and football. They think, oh, players win championships. Sure. But these young kids get better because they have older guys who have done it before around telling them and letting them learn and teach. You think Kawhi Leonard turns into a superstar without Greg Popovich around? I don't know about that. But you look at Charlie Morton and Garrett Cole going from a poorly coached team in Pittsburgh to a well-coached team in Houston. I mean, look at these two guys, what they're doing just by a simple change in environment and pitching differently.
How about just, in the Philly-Boston game a couple days ago, Philly lost that game in the last few minutes of the first half because, like you said, they were young and got out-coached. They were up like 20-some points and literally just kept pressing and not taking any time off the shot clock and letting Boston back in that game. It just goes to what you just said. Coaching and veteran presence and all that stuff really matters in these sports way more than we think. And oftentimes it's easy to think it doesn't matter. And I fall on that all the time because these guys are professional athletes. How much do they really listen? So there's a little bit of that. But in the end, you see good coaches win.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I've always been a little harder on Tom Brady. His resume is the best in sports, right? I mean, his resume screams best quarterback of all time. But like we've always said, if you put Peyton Manning with Bill Belichick for 20 years, you don't think Manning's got a fistful of rings as well. You put Aaron Rodgers on the Patriots, you don't think he's in a better spot. You put Dan Marino in his heyday on the Patriots, man, these guys would excel just as well. Brady was going to be good no matter where he went.
Yeah, he has the best resume, but no one will ever tell me that Aaron Rodgers isn't the best quarterback ever, honestly. Like, I know this. Like, I don't know why. I feel like I am so convinced of this. Like, I've never seen anything like him. When he has the ball, I know that they're going to score and win. Like, I know it.
And then you watch, like, the Patriots play, and don't get me wrong. When I shit on Brady, I shit on Brady as being the best ever and saying, like, maybe he's here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's a bum. I don't think he's bad. I think he's great. He deserves all the things that he has coming to him. He's just been in a really nice situation. Like, you watch Tom Brady, and you're like, how is it Amendola have nobody within 14 yards of him? I could complete that pass, and I suck. You know what I mean? Like, it just coaching makes such a big difference. And these Charlie Morton and Garrett Cole are showing it this year that change in environment and a change in somebody telling them what to do has been just huge for them.
Yeah, and the other side of that before we get off is that they both came from Pittsburgh. So what does that say about the Pirates coaching staff?
Well, like you were talking about Devin and I were talking about how pathetic Pittsburgh is the last couple of years, how many times they mismanage games and things like that. And it reminds me of Charlie Morton was quoted as saying, well, yeah, they always told me in Pittsburgh, just try to get ground balls. He goes, then I came to Houston, they said, just let it rip and throw it hard. So he goes, that's why I'm throwing 98 now instead of 92. I just said, go ahead and throw it harder. So I am. I'm like, really? That seems kind of simple. And watched a situation like that. You remember David Ortiz, Big Papi, that used to be a Minnesota Twin?
Oh, yeah. He was awful.
So I lived in Minneapolis back then. I was going to Twins games and watching him. And I'm like, man, this guy should be hitting for more power. He's just a huge guy. He's just a giant dude. And then he goes to Boston. He starts killing it. They're like, well, what's with the progression? He goes, I don't know, man. He goes, I always said I should be a home run hitter. Look at me. He goes, in Minnesota, they kept telling me to try to slap the ball to the other side of the field. I'm like, well, that just seems dumb. You're like 6'5", 260 pounds. You should be hitting home runs. Like,
yeah,
that was just bad coaching.
At all. Like, I remember him with Minnesota well. Like, you're talking about a guy, I'm not even kidding when I say this, like, not even thought about getting drafted in year-long fantasy leagues. Like, not even thought about.
Yeah. And then he goes to Boston, becomes one of the greatest DHs of all time.
Hall of Famer, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Clutch hitter and everything like that. And, like, watching the interview, and he's just like, yeah, he goes, they kept telling me to slap it to left field. He goes, I'm big guy, a power hitter. Like, I kind of think of, like, Serrano from Major League when you talk about that. But all right, guys, we've rambled on long enough. Have yourselves a great Saturday.
Later, guys.